There are many interesting angles connected with the annual 500-mile race in Indianapolis, which the average fan never hears about. Now, two of the most important are the manner in which new drivers prove their right to get into the race each year, and the way in which race officials keep track of each car's actual position from start to finish of the long grind over a period of more than 4 hours. Today we have Bill Holland, the outstanding Speedway newcomer of last year, and two Speedway veterans, Tommy Milton and Wilbur Shaw, gathered around our microphone to tell us about these behind-the-scenes activities. Now, how does a young driver go about getting into the 500-mile race, Bill?
I believe the best way is the way I did it, Stan. I started 13 years ago by driving in sprint races on dirt tracks and kept at it until I attracted the attention of several big car owners. I became acquainted with some of the more experienced drivers by competing against them in shorter races. Then I went out to Indianapolis last year and found a car owner willing to trust me on the big track with a good car.
Well, that sounds almost too easy, Bill. There is a lot more to it, isn't there?
Yes, there is, Stan, because after a young driver does get a car, he still must pass a strict driver's test before he's allowed to even try to qualify for the Indianapolis race. But Wilbur and Tommy can tell you more about that than I can.
What's the usual procedure, Wilbur, for these driver's tests?
Well, Stan, if a youngster shows promise on the dirt tracks and is nominated to drive at Indianapolis, he reports to the 3A officials and they send him out on the track to run 10 laps at a speed of 95 miles an hour. If his work is satisfactory, the speed is stepped up to 105 miles an hour for 10 more laps, then up to 110 and finally to 115. During these tests, a committee of officials and veteran drivers watch every move the youngster makes, and the new driver must pass all of these tests before he is allowed to try to qualify for the race. Tommy here has served on many such committees.
Yes, I've watched several youngsters, including some who are veterans now, break into the 500-mile race, Stan. And I've seen several of them fail to make the grade, too. 2 years ago, only 13 of 26 newcomers succeeded in winning the approval of the committee in charge of the tests. And last year, the percentage was even lower, when only 7 of 16 made the grade.
Well, those figures certainly give a clear picture of how tough it is to pass that driver's test. And now, Wilbur, tell us how the AAA officials keep track of all the cars in the race during each of the 200 laps they must cover to win the event.
Chester Ricker of Detroit is our director of timing and scoring, and he has a staff of 160 men, Stan, who do nothing but see that every car gets full credit for every lap it completes. 4 different groups of scorers work independently of each other. We use an electric eye to time the race, and as each car completes a lap, the exact time is printed on the master tape, which runs through the timing device. The chief scorer, who never takes his eyes off the track, calls out the number of each car as it passes, and his assistants enter the number of the car on the tape opposite the time as it is recorded. Seated in a long row behind the timing device is another group of scorers, each responsible for keeping the exact record of one particular car. Each of these scorers has a box of 200 pre-numbered cards, one for each lap, and he checks these off as the race progresses. These individual scorers, incidentally, are seated in one long row in the order of the starting position of the car they represent. Their seats are numbered, and they change seats as their individual cars change position in the race. Whenever any official wants to know the standing of the various cars, it's a very simple matter to look at the row of scorers and get the complete picture in a single glance.
Well, what do the other 2 groups of scorers do, Wilbur?
One of them keeps an accurate check of the time each car spends in the pits for fuel or tires or repairs of any kind. The other keeps a record of any accident or anything unusual which happens on the track. And when the reports of all 4 groups are coordinated, the picture is complete.
Well, thanks, Wilbur, and you too, Tommy Milton and Bill Holland, for giving us this behind-the-scenes picture of Speedway activity. It emphasized what a huge operation the annual 500-mile race actually is. And I'm sure that the fans who've been listening in will get greater enjoyment out of this year's race as a result of this information.